Aha. Good evening to all of those watching now and in the future. Tonight, me and Mr. MerseyBeers are going to be drinking, reviewing, and chatting Beak Brewery. There we go. It's Jurgen Imperial Stout. Adam knows a bit more about the Jurgen than I certainly do. I'm looking forward to this. 12%. I thought you said 10% in the house. Just shows you how bad my eyes are.
No, 12%. Start with the big boy.
Good evening, Thomas. How are you? And Thomas is in the house. So on my phone, I can actually see the comments on this side. I just take my phone to dial because I'm only on 6%, and I've got the charger plugged in, but you never know. So, I'll have a read what it says on the back. Let me get the old magnifying glass out because my eyes are shocking. I don't know if it's old age or what. I used to have fantastic eyes. So all the light in the show, I'll blame the light. This opulent Imperial Stout was brewed with a combination of roasted chocolate and crystal malt before being aged over a profuse amount of the highest grade cacao nibs, if that's how you pronounce it, we could lay our hands on. We're getting white oak and espresso on the nose, followed by flavours of bourbon, brownies, and salted chocolate pretzel. And does it say on this side about the? Doesn't actually say about the person they brewed it with, does it? Or brewed it for? Or...
They did an Instagram story about it, about Jurgen from the Great British Bake Off, not the one just gone this year. It was the 2021. But as I was saying to you before, they've spelled his name wrong. He's got an E in his name, an extra E between the U and the R. But yeah, no, it's funny. This I've not had an Imperial Stout for a long time that's got salt in it. So it's an unusual ingredient to have
in an Imperial Stout. Yeah. So good evening to Kevin Parton. Good evening to Mr. Bolton Wanderer, Nagan, Jimmy the guitarist, and Thomas has cracked open a can of chocolate quad, 11% last year. Is that a starter? Sessionable. So, let's crack it open and see what we get. So mine is, I would say, a cool room temperature. I would say it's probably about 13 degrees because the house is a bit cooler today. Certainly on the floor in the dining room.
Mine was room temperature, and I put it in for about half an hour and then took it out just before. So it's cooler than room temperature.
So, nice black bore, quite a dark tan head on there. And good evening, Chris. I always find with beers, and I was with Rob Hobzine in the Neon Raptor tap room, and I had took Bock 2000, and because I was ill from the night before, I was trying to keep it really, really slow, and so mine had gone quite room temperature / warm. His was straight from the keg, obviously cold. The difference was stunning. Both versions brilliant, but stunning difference.
That's the problem with getting in a pub. Sometimes it is too cold because a lot of them only have temperature regulators for the whole keg line, so it has to be one temperature.
So, it has got some poke on it on the aroma. You try and see what it.
I'm really surprised it's not bourbon barrel aged because that's a big.
It is bourbon, and the espresso certainly comes through.
Yeah, those chocolate malts are there as well. I'm not getting any salt on the aroma.
I got a little whiff of salt then, just a real little whiff.
But yeah, certainly espresso, bourbon, wood. So with some bourbons that you get with it, they are that woody sort of aroma.
So, if you like your bourbon on the aroma, Bang the Elephant do Statement of Intent. Getting it up to your place will not be easy. I think Left Field Beer is probably the
Oh yeah,
best shot. You've had it?
I've not had it no, but I can get Left Field Beer. I've got a little discount code for them.
Yeah, and it will be there. And
because it's just unfortunate with Adventure Beer. It's £9 delivery nation.
Yeah, that £9's a killer. I mean, you're like, you've got to spend a lot of money, and obviously they don't really have any sales stuff, so it's
okay if you're splitting it with someone and you do £4.50 each.
Yeah, then it's not so bad. And if you're doing a double order, because you can get a big order, but £9 on its own. Oof. That's why I always try and trigger the free deliveries. Good evening, Benjamin. Right. Oh, certainly smelled divine. Absolutely divine. And obviously, Beak these days have got a fantastic name for themselves. I'll put that there. For some reason, it's not showing up on the camera.
It's because you've set it to, if you change the view, you can open it wider.
I don't want to mess about with the thing. Let me see if that. Here we go.
Oh, there you go.
Right. That's it. As long as I don't break out, as long as I don't kill the feed. I've done that before. Press something thinking I'm turning something different, and I broke the feed. But right. Oh, sorry.
Cheers.
Thank you very much. Oh, that salt does come through there.
Right on the back end, yeah. So much chocolate, though. The amount of chocolate malt is ridiculous.
Quite drying.
That alcohol warmness as well on the back, at the very back, at the end. It's 12.
Yeah, you can taste it's a strong beer, that's for sure. So Negan says, you ever been to Carnival Brewery, Adam? Big fan of the place.
Many times. It's good, especially with Azvex literally over the road. They're like diagonally across the road now, so you can do Azvex and Carnival within 10 minutes.
Azvex, he's obviously he was Neon Raptor, and then they came in and bought into Neon Raptor. I don't know the ins and outs of it all. Obviously, he left there. And again, I don't know what happened there, but I presume something happened. But obviously now he's gone to Liverpool, and Nottingham's loss is certainly Liverpool's gain.
Yeah.
Azvex are just everywhere.
Tap room's lovely. Just going in, it's really sort of basic, but well done, basically. And they've probably got the best canning system in the whole of Merseyside at the moment. There was not really many breweries that had canning systems. Gleneffric had their own for a long time. Wasn't the best quality canning. And Neptune have one, but it's dead small. And again, I think that affects the quality of the canning. Azvex is more or less perfect. It's a perfect canning machine. I've not had a bad can from them.
It's funny with Azvex because they did a blog, and if anybody watched this before they opened, they did a blog of what he wanted to get from the brewery and to do a brewery the best way. So I'm off the camera there. Yeah, but what he did, he wanted to do the brewery in the best way to warm the water up, and all these things they put on his blog. And it was interesting, from obviously from a non-brewer background, it was interesting to read what he wanted out of the brewery. Obviously, he learned a lot from Neon Raptor, brewing in a dinkum little. I mean, it is a dinkum little place. Neon Raptor is, although they have got another brewery.
Right.
Mixed fermentations. I do think they're going to move to a bigger brewery at some stage, and all that will be left there is the tap room.
Yeah, you can see that they'll just add another floor to the tap room where the mezzanine level is.
Yeah, you can see that happening because that area of Nottingham is a stunning area of Nottingham for craft beer, as you well know, and them moving out. their prominence this year has exploded. Neon Rap, they were everywhere earlier on in the year, and collaborations from every angle. Same as Beak Brewery, really. Their prominence across the UK. And
Yeah.
I'd love to get these guys to come up to Nottingham next year for the Craft Beer Festival. I will be giving them a few pokes along the way.
I think this is also as well. This is really good stout for. I think it's only their third attempt at a dark beer. I think they've done. They did the Oopla, which was the straight up no adjunct Imperial stout, and they did Pencil, which was a straight 6% porter. I think they're the only dark beers they've done. I think that this is literally the third. So
Right.
it's a really good stout, Imperial stout for the third attempt.
Yeah, I mean, for third dark beer, it's amazing how certain breweries stick to certain types of beer. I mean, obviously they bring a lot of beers out, and all their what they don't do is go overboard on graphics, do they? You know,
No.
Minimalist graphics, but you know, you can see that it's beef. Where when you have a look at a can, you don't even need to read the writing half the time. You can say, "Oh, it looks like a beef beer."
No, it is good. I think the thing with Carnival, where they were, there's nothing there. There's literally, it's an industrial estate with nothing.
Yeah.
The nearest thing's Costco. There isn't anything. It's nowhere near the rest of the city centre. It's a good walk from the train station. And since Azvex moved in there, a pizza place has now moved in over the road. That whole row is starting to regenerate, and it's going to end up being a completely separate entity to the rest of the city centre.
This is the evolution of craft beers. This is where, if I look at Snenton, same as the Neon Raptor, that area so many years ago was a shed of an area. All the pubs you go in, you get your head kicked in.
Yeah.
All them pubs have now gone, by the way. But and since Neon Raptor came, Castle Rock redid the Fox and Grapes. Craft beer is helping rejuvenate areas. Like I say, with Azvex being there, eateries will open up because they know people are going to go. They want some food, and so it's great for them. But it's also reciprocation. You know, for Azvex and Carnival, it's great for them because people will stay longer.
Exactly. I say pizza place, a cake place has moved in next door. You've got Axe Throwing, which is 4 doors down from Azvex now as well.
You want to do that when you're drunk?
Maybe. But they've got a little bar in there, but I don't think there's much in there. But I think it's just more of a fridge, to be honest. But it's just it's that area was nothing. Like it was like spare tires, or really industrial area. There wasn't anything that I'd ever go there for. As Negan says, Hatchet Harry's is what it's called. The axe throwing place.
Yeah. I want to go anywhere near the hatchets. I'll just catch up with a few. So, Mark Jones, Strong Beer Billy, I never. Good evening, both of you. Good evening, Mark. Azvec's been a great addition to the area, certainly so. Certainly by what Adam's saying. Benjamin says, would love to visit Azvex. Yeah, me too. Benjamin followed the blog. He's trying to get perfection. Well, yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you? You know, you'd want to be going up. Neon Raptor's gone downhill since the Azvex guy there. That I don't know. I would say that their presence across the UK has never been bigger.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know about the beers themselves, obviously, but their presence. Have I bought a season ticket for Forest? No, you can't get one for love and the money. Good evening, Christopher. Signing Lingard. I know. Jesus Christ.
It's not a done deal, though, is it? Is it a done deal?
Yeah.
Deal. Oh, right. Yeah. They were in talks last time. I know he had a couple of clubs after him.
Yeah, I mean, we've signed, I think it's 12 players now. God knows what we've spent. And
you got to take your chance.
They've got, well, I mean, it's staying up's the thing, isn't it? And building on that and, getting to the middle of the table and then going up and up. That's what you really want. But it's a statement of intent, a bit like that beer. a proper statement from the forest owners. Mr. Bolton Wanderer says, to be honest, dark beers are easy to brew. The hardest, decent lagers and pilsner.
Yeah.
Master them, you can master anything. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I've brewed a couple of lagers. Yeah. I'm going down that road.
They've started doing saisons as well recently. Beak. They've done. Is it Cedric, which is their mixed fermentation big bottle job.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's sort of the way that they're sort of flexing their muscles at the moment. Because I'm not saying it's easy to brew double IPAs and IPAs, but that's what they've been doing since the start. It's the majority of their beer is double IPAs and just straight IPAs. I say they've done a couple of pills.
How you can keep varying it. I mean, I know you can use different hops all the time and put now I know that you can put the hops in at different stages of the boil, the mash, the dry hopping. So I do understand that a bit more now. So it's funny what you learn from, brewing your own beer, really. And good evening, Mr. Bullman, who says hi to both of us. And yeah, I'll reciprocate what Thomas says. Massive congrats on 1,000 subs.
Yeah, it's good.
It takes a long time to get there, mate, I tell you. 200,000 a week. Rumours of Lingard being on that. No way.
He wasn't on far that when he was at United, so he won't have gone for less money.
Wow. Oh, owners must have some big pockets. Mark says them two players from Huddersfield we wanted. And then Mark also says Saison, the devil of the craft beer crowd. Ugh. Yeah, well, I'm not a massive Saison fan. Farmhouse and all that sort of thing, but yeah. 15 million on signing on fee, 1 year contract, another rumour. Jesus. But then again, is that your dog? To stay up in the Premier League, you're going to get the money, aren't you? I think Adam's had to go and sort his doggy out. So this is tasting absolutely spot on. And very kind of Mr. MerseyBeers to actually send this down to me.
Sorry, you wanted to let now.
Is he a bit rough?
No, he plays. He plays with his toy, and he was like, "Come on, I'm showing you I'm playing." And then he was like, "I want to go outside." Okay, fine.
My dog don't do that now. He walks around like he's drunk all the time, a bit like his dad. But there you go.
He's only 5, so he's not
little wee puppy. But yeah, so now the air's getting to it. The bourbon is coming out even more. Wow, I can feel it on my head. Ooh.
Yeah, wood as well. Really woody bourbon. Oak.
I mean, say that's their third attempt. That is nice.
It's third dark beer, only the second Imperial Stout.
Wow. I do know that with Neon Raptor, talking about Neon Raptor, and the beer that me and Rob reviewed, Tukbok 2000, you can still get it from Neon Raptor. That was an Imperial Walnut Stout, whatever. And the walnut was absolutely stunning. And it was essence. It's all essence. Not actually walnut in it. I think most of them are these days, aren't they? Just because it's easy, it's the easy way of getting it.
I think I know there's big hype at the moment with Daya. They're Into the Haze, which has been in their IPA for ages. They've just done a passion fruit version, and that was literally all not essence, but the concentrate. You can see them pouring it in from bags and bags and bags of passion fruit concentrate.
I mean, I suppose you could use passion fruit, but then you get the messing about of it all, aren't you?
How many passion fruit would you use to get it? Because it's only the inside, isn't it, with a passion fruit? It's just the inner bit. So you'd have to scoop out hundreds probably to get that same sort of flavour.
Yeah. You're better off letting somebody do it at a factory, aren't you? It's less hassle. Yeah. I mean, it's something I want to do down the road with brewing. I want to do fruits and stuff, but I'm not sure I'd want to. I'd want to do it the easy way first before um, always losing the plot on the transfer front. We'll be skipping by next Christmas. Mark the Pondering Man. Good evening, sir. Yes, you've got to wonder that as well. I would have think they're quite a bit. They're quite astute with their signings. And is that a pretzel on the beer can art? It certainly is. Yes.
It's very drying, the salt on the finish. Since
It
it's
is.
warmed up.
I thought that initially on the first taste. I thought, oh,
You got it before me, yeah.
drying the mouth out. That's good. It's nice. It's nice to actually get something. You know, sometimes you review beers and you're like, I don't get. You know, they listen to the flavour and I don't get none of these flavours. And so it's nice to actually get, you know, at least most of it. Interesting to see where they go next. I mean, I'd love them to come to Nottingham. If anybody from Beak Brewery watches this in the future, Nottingham Craft Beer Festival, but also Derby's Beer Con. You know, you might as well come and do both.
I think they were quite busy last month with their own festival that Craig and Jake went to. It was just
That looked good.
lovely.
That did.
Yeah. Was it? I don't know. If it's the
It's
first
good.
or second year. I'm not sure.
It's good to see these. See, this is where craft beer is taking over from camera, in my opinion, because craft beer brings people of all ages. It's not just the hippie people. People of all ages into the fray. Whereas camera these days is well, mainly for a bunch of old blokes, from what I've seen. It's not all the drinkers are old blokes, but certainly the people who are setting it up are. And the craft beers, I personally think that they are the ones bringing people more so into beer. Although you won't think about it looking at supermarkets. But then again, I suppose the cost of putting your beer into a supermarket, the profit there is just nothing.
No, we lost leaders, most of them probably.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know the head brewer at Navigation Brewery. He worked at Callum Island, and he was saying that they sent, I don't know if it was a Callum Island beer or a different company, a brewery, but they were saying that they sent pallets to supermarkets and would earn something daft like 12 pence profit off a pallet, which is crap. I mean, Jesus.
But it's that
Unless it was 12 quid, but you know, one of the two. I know it was a ridiculously low sum.
It's that brand recognition. How much is that worth? If that person buys it from the supermarket and they see it in a pub, and they choose that other over a pint of Foster's.
Yeah, yeah, there is that side of things, isn't it? You know, to knock it down. Good evening, Disco. Welcome to the chat. Good to see something darker from Beak. Still, have not tried.
You're nearer. You're not that far. Lewis is not that far from. I know it's close to Brighton, London. It's definitely closer than both of us.
Yeah, a lot closer than me. Yeah, definitely. And Thomas says, just done a review of a beer. It said it was a hazy IPA on the beer can. Don't think I've seen a clear beer. John says, good evening, Maggie. Brett says, good evening, Maggie and Adam. Good evening, Mater.
I'll see Brett next week.
Yeah. Oh, cracking.
Yeah. Week tomorrow.
It's good to see people meeting up. I mean, it's something in the future that I'll try and do, you know, travelling around. In the future. Where is this brewery based? In Lewes, mate. I don't know where Lewes is.
Lewis, it's literally Lewis. I think it's just north of Brighton, because you can't really get any south of Brighton without being in the sea.
No.
So yeah, I think it's just north of Brighton. Not far from Stuntman Steve.
So down south, it's Stuntman Steve. Hey, he's a legend. He is proper legend. And Brett says, "Yep, can't wait to meet Adam and Peter." Yeah,
I'm hoping Peter can come. I know he's having some work issues, so we'll see.
These things happen, don't they? Work and stuff.
I know.
Yes, it's a demon we all have to put up with, unless we win 195 million on the lottery. Oh, that would have been nice.
I haven't checked my emails yet, and I'm on online for the lottery, so we.
Oh, could you imagine?
Yeah,
Oh,
I probably
I'd
won a
have
little
my
lucky
own.
dip.
I'd have my own brewery
I wouldn't. I really wouldn't have my own brewery. I really
or
wouldn't.
tap room, maybe.
Definitely a bar or a tap
Yeah.
room.
So I mean, I can tap all the best. I can tap all the local breweries up, and probably some of the breweries from around the country. But
Yeah.
do a bit of tapping up as you do, a little bit of prodding. Oi, send your beer to me. And I suppose they would definitely do it, the price involved, obviously. So this goes put just east of Brighton, down the coast towards Hastings.
There you go.
Lovely places, Luez, or Luz, that's how you pronounce it. Home of Harvey's, but I don't like their beer much either. Harvey.
Harvey's Best's nice on cask. I've had that before. You don't see it much up north. I've had it in London.
Mark the Pondering Man. Oh, did I not tell you I won that on Wednesday, Raggy? I'll send you a beer as a gift. Yeah. I think you might not be on the internet for a few days and sorting your finances out and getting drunk. Because I know how.
I wouldn't quit my job until I got the money in my hands.
No, you've got to have it there and in your bank, and 195 million. Then you'd get all your family and all your friends coming out the woodwork. Yeah, those that all of a sudden know. Amazing how our money brings people round to you.
Yeah, your second cousin that you've not seen in 20 years suddenly turns up on your doorstep.
Hey, look, Billy, mate, how are you? And it's like, yeah. So Brett says, I am near Brighton. I've seen Beak about, but they do mainly pale beers, and I kind of don't break my neck for pales. Yeah, I suppose with any company, there's only so many types of one beer that you ever want to try. Variation is key, I think, to keep it fresh for everyone.
Well, speaking about, I'm hoping that we can do the other Imperial Stout, the GlassHouse. That is GlassHouse's only Imperial Stout in a can. I think they have done that. I think they have done dark beers on draft only, but I think that is the only one that's ever been in a can of a dark beer from GlassHouse.
I'll drink this, then I'll go up the house and fetch that. It's only there, and then I'll put them both on the description. So Rory's in and says, "All right, lad. All right, matey." And Bolton says, "Anyone get anything from the Little Beer Festival?" No.
Not yet.
Not yet. No. There was a couple of interesting beers there for that I'd like to try. The only problem is I found a little. Depends where you live in the country. Sometimes you'll get the lot, and sometimes you'll get Bob All. And
I'm quite lucky. I live between two. I live right in the middle of two Lidls, so I'm quite lucky in the fact that it'll probably be in one or the other. But that West, I was looking at that West brewery, the dark one in a bottle. That was the one I was eyeing up. I don't know what the ABV is on it, but it looked decent.
And Rory says Adam's a good lad for getting people beers, very generous. Yes, it is Rory, for sure. Mark says got 4 lot lemon beers from Lidl today. Fair play.
A lot of them are duplicates, though. I've noticed that Zoom Time's been on before. That Into the Pink's been on before. The ones that they've had in before.
Yeah, and the Adnams ones. I mean, who hasn't had Adnams? I mean, Jesus me.
I've not had that Jack Brand Mosaic for a long, long time. I've not seen that for a long time. So that I might get that again. It's a nice beer from memory. But it's been about 5 years since I've seen it.
Yeah. I wonder sometimes that with the beer channel, going back and reviewing a load of the traditional beers, seeing how they play now, seeing if I still like them. Because, like with all of us, we drink beers, we drink different beers, and our taste buds change. And what we liked 10 years ago is not the same as what we like now. And also, beers get made cheaper, for profit reasons. and obviously to keep them cheap.
Apart from plum porter on cask, I've liked that from the very beginning of when I started. I remember that was probably one of my first 10 breweries on that I'd ever had. And
Titanic.
Titanic plum porter, and I've had it at the brewery, and I've had it recently, and it's still a good beer to have on cask.
I'll tell you what, the plum porter that Bolton sent down to me was absolutely stunning. It was an earthy, sweet, lovely ABV as well. It was absolutely stunning. I mean,
better than Grand Reserve.
Pardon?
Better than Grand Reserve, would you say?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It's a game changer of a beer. It's very, very good. Yeah, it certainly is. St. Peter's plum porter though, that's lovely. That's a bit, whereas Titanic is a bit sweet, it's a little bit more earthy.
I've never seen it on draft though. I've only ever had it in bottles. The closest I came was my friend lives in Peterborough, and I went to Peterborough Camera Beer Festival, and I arrived and they were taking the cask off. It just run out. So that's the closest I've ever seen to it being on draft. I've never seen it on draft anywhere else.
That's a shame. I've never had it on draft either. Another brewery, and if you ever see them, Adventure Beer is probably the only place that I've seen it, but Harrison's in Retford. So that brewery in Retford, they do a plum porter, and that also is stunning. It is. One of these days, I'll do 1v1.
Yeah. Nailers as well in Yorkshire. I'm not sure if they're still going. I think they may have gone bust during lockdown, but they did a lovely plum porter I had in a bottle once, and it's one of those ones that you brew seasonally, so you hardly ever see it.
That's a shame. Got to be an all year round job. Brett says, I've got 4 cans of the Love Lane.
Yeah, the maple one. It's brand new, that. I've not had that yet.
And Bolton says, got a sweet cherry milk stout at 6.5%. Mark says, West Dark beer is okay. Had it on draft in Glasgow.
Okay.
And Hayden says, good evening. Says, evening, Raggy and Adam. How's your homebrews tasting? Tasting really good. Yeah, but they're being aged now. Well, I'm trying to age them. I'm trying not to drink them, but you know how it is. You come down the shed, and I've got the beers on the beer wall, which are quite low. I've kept it low, to be fair. And then I see an Imperial Stout here, and I've got bottle after bottle of Imperial Stout, and it's proving very, very difficult not to just sod it. You know, I'm tempted to open them up, get some essence, open them up, and drop a bit of essence in each one when I actually go and buy some essence.
That's what Emperors have done with their most recent collaboration. If you've seen the pack that they've sent out, they're doing the Jim Damson vanilla, chocolate, a smoked cherry. It's weird Cult of Oak down south and Steel City in Sheffield. There's apparently 50 of those packs in the wild. That's it. 50 packs. That's it. They're gonna go like gold dust.
They won't last long. I'd love to get invited to his house and go into his cellar, because his cellar, by all accounts, is stunning.
Yeah.
Full of beer, because obviously he'll brew a beer with somebody, then they'll send him beer, and he'll have his crates and crates and crates of beers, and he still works as well. He's got a job, so.
Well, I've seen on usually about Christmas time, he posts on some of the beer trading groups what he's got for Christmas, and it's usually last year was at Adminson's dessert in a can, but he had a 30-litre keg on a Linda machine. That was his. So, a 10% Imperial adjunct stout on 30 litres that he did over Christmas. That's some effort.
If you remember from Neon Rats last year, the landlord, Craft Beer Basic, Rory, he can drink. Now he can drink, and I says to him, "Why don't you go up against Damon? See if you can drink it." And he says, "No chance." Says, "I know when I'm beaten," and that's something. So obviously he obviously can drink Imperial Stouts like water.
I know Neil from Top Rope quite well. I saw him the other weekend. I went to the tap room and had a chat with him, and he was saying when Damien came to do the collaboration, it was first thing in the morning. It was we'll have the wort from what they brewed plus whiskey at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's like that's how we start brewing.
Yeah. Oh God! Well, I was at Bang the Elephant last year, and they picked me up at 10 to 7 in the morning. 10 to 7 in the morning. I'm like, Jesus Christ, these start early. Got down there. So was down there for 7:05. Urban Chicken Ale, who I got his cans today, a couple of his cans. He was there. He says, "Do you want a coffee?" I says, "Yeah," because I was doing a video at the time. And then he says, then they set up the machine, the keg machine. I think it was that one you said. And they were pouring 13% Lumiere at that time, and 7:30 in the morning. And you know me. Oh yeah, go on then.
They start early. If you look at I know Harry does a lot on Instagram where he's brewing. He starts really early and finishes early. That's how it is. You start, sort of towards 6 o'clock in the morning to brew, not to drink, but to brew.
Yeah. You don't want to be drinking too much, but
that collab,
so that's a downer, isn't it? That collab day was just ridiculous. The amount of beer going down and different beers coming out, and then obviously every brewery that came, there was 11 different breweries, I think, and everyone was bringing beer, and God, it's getting absolutely sloshed. Yeah, only lasted till 5:30, but from 7:30 in the morning, that wasn't too bad really. Mark says that my mate's been to Damien's house party. It is stunning. Damien's friends with my best mate in America. I play there, mate.
Right.
I've seen Damien drunk from whiskey. We had to put him in a cab in London a few years ago. God, I bet he drank some.
He's so close. I didn't realise how close he was to, because he lives Leicestershire, doesn't he? He doesn't live in Nottingham.
I think it's Colville.
Yeah, he lives so close to the, Mount St. Bernardus, the Abbey Brewery, the Trappist Brewery. He lives really close to them. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, because I've reviewed that beer and it is a stunning beer. Am I using my pinter? I'm going to brew on it this week. I'm only doing it to get rid of 2 kits. And once I've got rid of them kits, I'm going to use it to put Imperials in. So when people come round, I can just pour an Imperial out the pinter. And I was going to sell it, but
I'll send you a link this week. I saw someone that's managed to do basically like part grain brewing and then like condition it in the pinter. And then when it's finished conditioning, they can pour out. So I'll send you the link this week. It's like you do part of it. Part of it is you would do grain brewing, and then you do the second half when you do the conditioning in the pinter.
Oh, second fermentation in the pinter.
Yeah.
That sounds sensible. You won't do it all in the pinter. So Big Kev just drunk a Loch Lomond Scottish tablet stout from Lidl. No different to any other chocolate toffee coffee stout. That's a shame.
It's a chocolate delicacy, isn't it? Tablet in Scotland.
Yeah, I read that earlier. Somebody posted that earlier about the tablet thing being, explaining what the tablet meant.
It's like toffee in it.
God, I can feel this. Jesus.
But it's not. When I was looking to see whether it was catching on the glass, so, when you say it's got alcohol legs and you can see it leaving a residue, it's not really leaving much of a residue on the glass.
You can see there's a thin lacing around.
Very
not
thin.
like a proper film as you would expect from something of this ABV.
exactly.
But tasting mighty fine as it is.
It's not thin at all.
So Bolton says tablet is fudge. Ah,
there you go. Fudge toffee.
I think it was you who said it earlier, Bolton. Yeah. Certainly still getting the bourbon. Certainly getting the salty element, obviously that pretzel element.
Very drying.
The espresso's there. And yeah, it is drying in the background. I'm going to save some of this for the wife and to see what she thinks when I go and fetch the other can. She's not. I'll keep it down here and I'll take it up later.
I haven't put it in the fridge. It's in the cupboard. I don't really. It's going to be warm. I try and keep all my light beers in the fridge, and then like the dark stuff's in the cupboard.
So, if I was going to give it a score out of 5, whether you do or don't, it's interesting, isn't it? So, I'll do what I think and see what you think as well.
Okay.
Lovely black pour, dark tan. Certainly got most of the elements that said like chocolatey. Look at me trying to read that. I can't even see the bloody writing properly. So white oak, yeah, there was a woodiness there. Espresso on the nose, yeah, I did get that. Bourbon, brownies. I'm not so sure I get brownies, but you don't always get everything.
Chocolate, certainly.
Salted chocolate pretzels. Well, you do get the salty element. You do get the chocolate element.
It's not bready though. I didn't get any breadiness. Like or sort of cracker that you get from some malt. Definitely chocolate. Absolutely, 100%.
Very drying.
Yeah.
But the bourbon element was nice. It certainly is.
That's
I don't want to neck it because I'll be steaming.
There's not much left.
I've still got a load here.
Oh, I empty the can.
Still got about that much in there. I can just about feel it. Yeah. So I may do a separate review, quick review, just to, later on sort of thing. But unless I neck it before, I'll get a photo of it in a glass before I do. Well, I'll say I will, but we'll see how it goes.
But yeah, try and get it a bit ahead when you re-review it. Just give it a good shake to get a bit of
pour it in. Get that tan head on it. Thomas says chug. I can feel it. You can feel it in your head. That's proper got me. Right. Yeah, that's all right. Big Kev, hi guys, just disappointed with this tablet. With the stout. Tablet is so rich, just really disappointed. Stout. Under £2, but I expected more.
The brewing, so Loch Lomond brew to a point. The difference between Loch Lomond's actual beers and the beers that you get in Lidl is ridiculous. Some of the I've not had the one that they did 2 with Damien, didn't they? They did the Forced Diet. Is that the one that they did? And then they did the F Cancer collaboration, which again was another obviously another Star Wars reference with it being Damien Emperor's Brewery. I'm trying to think what it was called. Bacta, the healing liquid from Star Wars.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I was going to get that because there was 4 of them F Cancer beers on, and I never got them. I think probably just disappeared now.
I could probably get them still, maybe. There's a couple of places that I know that probably still got them kicking around. That's the thing with stouts, you can get them wet. If you can get them afterwards, the hype's died down.
I mean, I was going to try and get Lumiere from Bang the Elephant, which is an absolutely unbelievable, stunning beer. And the shop had it, and I posted about it. And bugger me, before I managed to put my order in, somebody had gone and ordered them all. So I should have kept my mouth shut and just ordered them first. but the shop itself was going out of business if it didn't get the orders. So
Yeah.
in some ways, you spread their name on the internet, and whether I helped or whether other people helped, it saved them from going under. So in that respect, it's a good thing that they've sold the beers.
That's the thing. I was thinking Emperor's Stouts and Vault City Stouts. If I ever see either of them, even if it's a collaboration, I always go, you'll get them now because you won't get them later. For example, Vault City haven't done a stout in ages, but they did a collaboration with S43 at S43. And I managed to pick that up in a shop in Liverpool about a month ago. I haven't had it yet, but I know that won't be there now. You literally, it'd be blink and it's gone.
Vault City, absolutely stunning with what they're bringing out at the moment. Their list of beers is just unbelievable. They must have some brewery. They must be brewing day and night. For the amount of different beers they're bringing out. I'll just go and fetch that GlassHouse beer a second. Not be long.
We're getting that one, okay.
Can't follow.
He's gone to cheekily water the plants, hasn't he, as well? Who's drinking my breakfast? Is that what the Bang the Elephant one is called? I do love banana stouts. You don't get many of them. I've still got the Vocation banana chocolate milkshake stout. I've had that for a while. The one from Tesco. It's getting time to drink Imperial stouts. Can't drink them during the week. It's just you can't do a 9, 10 plus beer on a weekday. It's just ridiculous. Unless you're raggy. I mean, they do some good ones and they do some bad ones. I think the problem is that they brew to a price point, and the problem with brewing to a price point is you've got to accommodate for ABV and also ingredients. I was just saying for Loch Lomond, they are a good brewery, but a lot of the time they have to brew to a price point, don't they? You've got to either sacrifice the ABV or sacrifice the ingredients when you're doing that.
Yeah, I mean, supermarket beers, I mean, you can understand why they have to cheapen it down, otherwise the one will probably struggle to get it in supermarkets.
Yeah. You either save on the duty by keeping it low ABV, or you save on the ingredients. You can't do both. Not at a supermarket price.
With the price of hops going up as well, that's why if you look now, Brewdog and Beavertown are back in, have got such bigger command now of the craft beer sector in supermarkets, simply because both of them can brew at silly amounts.
The only good thing is Yakima Chief, one of the big hop merchants that are based in the US, now have UK offices and distribution here. So they technically have Yakima Chief UK as a UK entity. So importing entity to entity when you're the same group is a lot easier than doing, Yakima Chief in the US to a particular brewery in the UK. So I think that's a way they might get around it. If you see you ever see Brew Export? I know they're big on Instagram and Facebook at the moment, like a US importer of beer. That's how they get around it. They have two entities. They have Brew Export US and they have Brew Export UK. And what they do is they basically send it to it themselves and then distribute it once it gets into the country. It's the way around doing it.
I noticed this with Suds and Soda in Derby, the Neon Raptors upper. And they get a lot of craft beer from America, and their prices are just ridiculous, cheap.
Yeah.
And obviously, and I noticed for a lot of breweries that it'll say on the can EU address, and it's like, but it's all made here. That's bull. But obviously, that's what they do to get around. The things.
I know.
So Shane said, sorry.
So I was going to say, I know Harry's he brews for a very traditional brewery, but their owner is Swedish. So they have a Swedish unit. It's literally just a unit, a storage unit, but that's their home basis for the EU part of their company. It's just a unit, but it's literally, that's how you get around it. The entity is base and the address is that unit. Everything goes to that unit that's within the EU.
It's just a sly way of getting around all the rules, isn't it? But then again, if rules are meant to be broken, or shall we say, swerved,
bent, maybe a little bit, bend those rules a little bit.
You've got to, haven't you? So Shane says, I'm drinking Bang the Elephant at the moment. Who's been drinking my breakfast? What a beer. Lovely banana taste. Yes. It's made it to my, I've got now on the top shelf up there, it's going to be my beer wall of fame. So if a bit, I've only just started it, mind you, so it's a bit sparse. But they're the beers that I've had recently. And obviously some will come off because I think, oh, that's better than that. But that's my little beer wall of fame. But yeah, stunning beer.
I'm shocked that St. Bernardus is up there.
They like it.
It is good, but St. Bernardus do better beers than that beer. If you try the Christmas one, the Christmas St. Bernardus one was really good.
Yeah, like I say, I've only just started it. There would have been some other ones, but if I could go back in time and get the bloody cans of chucked away and bottled. So Big Kev says Loch Lomond Brew, one of my favourite breweries. By the way, in the last couple of years, I've loved some of their beers in the past. Also, 71 Brewery beers too.
Yeah.
Bolton says Scottish Lidl Beer Festival smashed it in my opinion. 71 Brewing did some cracking beers. Hopsy, couple of lovely chaps. Cheers, matey. And Big Kev, I've had better Lidl beers from 71 and Loch Lomond from Lidl consistently than other supermarket beers. For me, £3 beers are not better than Lidl beers for cheaper. Yeah, big supermarkets though, a lot of overheads.
It's also as well that they're £3 all year round, whereas Lidl do them for a festival. They buy a certain amount and that's it. It's done.
Yes, so they'll buy a good amount, get them at a cheap price so they can bang them out and probably lose on them if anything.
But that's the thing, they'll get people in and they'll buy whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
Hang
on, I'll have to go.
So right, for the second beer,
I'll have to get it. Hang on.
No worries. This is Tanizaki, and it's from GlassHouse Beer Company. Adam knows more about the beer than I do, so I will try and read it. The writing is absolutely dinkum. Hey? Even magnifying glass can't read it. I can now. Yeah, almost if the magnifying glass was clean. So GlassHouse Beer made it this year to Nottingham, the Nottingham Craft Beer Festival. So that was good. It says Tanizaki, Imperial Stout, alcohol 10%, and that's all it says. It's looks like a little butterfly thing on the back. And it just shows you what I know, doesn't it? So I'll wait for Adam to come back. Let him let his drink. And I will do a separate, straight down the road review of both. But it's nice to have a chat. It's been a while since I've come on live, to be fair. And it's getting back into that habit of doing lives. It's been a long time. And you get out of the habit and then you kind of just veer away from it. And it just come on, quick beer review and then back up the house rather than having a good old chit-chat and putting the will to rights, as we do. I end up putting the will to rights in my brain every day. Yeah. No wonder by the end of the day I'm knackered, brain's gone. But right, straight for our man, MerseyBeers. So it doesn't say anything on the can about the beer, does it?
It's just a straight Imperial Stout. There's no adjuncts. It's they've only put oats in and dextrose maltodextrin, which is just to thicken it. But yeah, other than that, it's no adjuncts. Straight up Imperial Stout.
Right. Yeah. So GlassHouse. I've had a couple of GlassHouse beers. I think they were both sours, to be fair.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to do these things. What they do, what Craig does, and all them, where they start homing in on things. So I won't touch it because I'll bob it up. Bowman says, I'm more shocked Raggy's putting empties up.
I know. You did say a while ago you would never put empties on the beer wall.
Yeah. I just thought of having like a wall of a shelf of fame, but for beers that were just stunning. And as you notice, half the wall was full of raggy, so a little bit biased. Right, should we give it a pour?
Whoa, lively.
Yeah, it is just a tad lively there. Thank God I didn't shake it up before.
2 seconds. Oh.
So, there we go. Keep that bit there. Oh, smelling absolute divine.
Sorry, I just wipe up a bit there that came as it came off.
Yeah, just give my fingers a quick lick as you do. It's a very dark black pour, big dark tan head on it. As you can see, it's got a good head on it. And we bang the elephant glass.
I just gave mine a quick rinse. You can, again, very dark. It's a lot darker chocolate than the Jurgen.
Got this good, powerful aroma coming off.
Malt.
Good chocolate on the aroma, really quite strong chocolate.
Very, very dark chocolate, like almost like Bourneville.
I do love an Imperial. I mean, the ones I've brewed, for something that you brew yourself from a kit, they are literally stunning. And once they age, that's if they get to age, but they don't come down the shed every night and just get one a night. And then feed off of myself when I look and think, I've only got 2 left.
2 litre bottles as well.
I've got some smaller bottles.
That's why they're still left.
That's 500ml bottles. So
I've got Harry sent me some homebrew this week. He's been brewing, so he was like, "Yeah, here's some last batch homebrew." So I've had some good ones, but he sent me a whiskey bottle, an empty whiskey bottle that he's filled with his prune wine as well. So that should be interesting.
Ooh, prune wine. Do you know? For me, I mean, apart from the initial look and taste, but I actually enjoyed the prune wine. It certainly made you regular.
I'm not looking forward to that.
So Disco says, looks ace that I'm still struggling through the IPA disco beers. Sour and a brown ale to finish should be okay.
Yeah, he had a triple IPA before.
Mr. Shark Homebrewing says, good evening. Craig H, evening chats. Thomas, who is going to be the new Prime Minister of the UK?
Rishi. It's going to be Rishi. Yeah. He's got more support than Liz Truss. And to be fair, he's smarter than Liz Truss, which is not difficult. But he's smart. He's slimy. He's a slimy person, but it's going to be him.
We need to look at his wife and the dodgy deals that they've done. Raggy for PM. Disco, yeah. Oh dear. I'd upset a few people. Craig H says, what will be on? So we did Beak Brewery earlier. Prepped the Jurgen Imperial Stout. And absolutely lovely. Really nice from Beak Brewery. And now we're on GlassHouse Brewery, GlassHouse Beer. And this is Tanizaki. Raggy for Beer Minister. Yeah, that'd be good, wouldn't it? Free beer for all. Yeah, reduce it back down. There you go. That's a better picture than mine. GlassHouse Beer from Birmingham.
Yeah, Sturchley. South Birmingham. Yeah, South Birmingham. It's an area of Birmingham. I went to the brewery this month. No, end of last month. It's very good. Take your darts if you're going, because they've got a dartboard. It was quite good. But yeah, no, very dog friendly. We We had some lovely beer. They do a draft exclusive of a raspberry lager, which was really, really nice. Especially when we went, and it was when the weather was hot 1 minute, and then it was hammering it down the next. So raspberry lager was good when it was hot.
Not so when it was cooler. So Craig says a GlassHouse Impy is a rare one.
It's the only one they've ever canned. I know they have done dark beers on draft, but they are draft exclusives. But this is the only one that they've, as far as I'm aware, that they've ever canned.
It's chocolatey, and there's
I haven't even tasted it yet.
There's a slight twang in the back end.
Hop. It's a hop twang. Doesn't say. I don't think it says what hops there are. But if I hazard a guess, I would say it's Bramble and Cross, because it's that blackberry flavour that you get from Bramble and Cross. I've had it before in stouts.
It's very smooth. Flavour around the mouth.
Definitely fruity on the back end. Much more fruity. The other one was big chocolate and salt. This one it's a fruity hop for me finish. Almost like a black IPA.
It's certainly coming out more. The more you drink it, the more it develops up the fruity side of it. Ooh. Two very different Imperial stouts. Obviously, quite an intense Imperial stout, and then a more smoother, fruitier Impy, without being a fruit Imperial stout.
I think this is thinner than the Jurgen.
Yeah.
But by no means is the thinnest Imperial stout I've ever had. I've certainly had thinner.
Ooh. Let the air breathe there. No one with twangers. Not one with twangers. Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking. I fancy getting some essences to flavour up some of my Imperial.
Just get vanilla.
Yeah, that could be one.
I saw a big thing a while ago saying that they were trying to use vanilla essence, but you don't have to put a lot in, because it's the sweetness that brings out vanilla and stuff. So if you've already got a sweet stout, then vanilla essence, you only need to put a small amount in, because the sweetness will elevate the vanilla flavouring.
That's the thing with these essences. Apparently, you put something down like 0.5 mils per litre, and you look and you think, surely that's not enough. But that's what the Harrison's Brewery, on their recipes for the plum porter, I think that's what they advise to put in. So it just goes to show you not to go too silly on the, and go overboard. Martin Thomas, good evening, gentlemen. I saw Victoria Malaga Lager in Tesco, actually brewed in Spain and not under license in the UK, like Stella and San Miguel. Have you tried this beer? Yes, I have, and it's quite nice. Yeah, decent.
I saw a review from Geordie where he talked about the gluten-free San Miguel in Tesco being brewed in Spain, as opposed to the regular San Miguel, which is brewed on contract in Luton, and how better it was, even though it was the gluten-free version, because you can't. I don't know whether you don't have the equipment or whatever to do it in Luton, so they're importing that one, and apparently it's a lot better. And I've had difference between San Miguel. I would drink San Miguel in Spain, but I wouldn't drink it here because of how different it is.
Yeah, I mean, let's be fair. The stuff that's made over here, it's not the same water, is it, for starters?
No.
So, and obviously, it's the same care that goes into the lagers as it is in their own country. I don't think so. When it's mass produced, it's never the same.
And they're brewing so many different products in that one location as well.
It's like the Brew Water Cloud Dog beer. They were never the same. It might have been Cloud Water's recipe rather, but it certainly wasn't as good. And all them bloody IPAs tasted the same. I couldn't get any difference between all four of them, including the alcohol-free one.
I didn't bother. I just didn't bother. As soon as I knew they were Brewdog, I was like, "What's the point? They're just 4 Brewdog IPAs with a different label."
They weren't great, to be fair. Andrew says, "Evening, Ragster, and congratulations on the 1 million view count." Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it, that a little beer review channel can reach 1 million. Crazy. Yeah. Obviously, a lot of other people probably have done a lot more, but you know, I know Jim got 1.5 million views on a Castlemaine 4X beer or something along that line.
Having followed your channel for a long time, you can see the difference. It's night and day, and you can tell that it's come a long way from where it was.
Yeah, the old days, reading from Beer Advocate and all that, and I never did agree with half the shit they come out with on there.
Beer room was so darker as well. It was like, when you looked at it, it was like, why is it so dark? And then you were like, it's like summer months. And I'm like, it's so much lighter now.
Yeah. Having these lights beaming on me, it's like more of a TV studio now than it is an actual shed anymore. And although there's glass all over the floor from moving these bloody shelves last week, and because of the hot weather, I ain't been down the shed, so I ain't picked all the glass up. But I wiped out 6 glasses last week, so yeah, a couple of £5 ones as well that I paid for, so I'm gutted about that.
Oh.
Put a load of cans on here to take a photo, so I wanted it to look really good. And next minute, 1 can went, 2 can went. No, all the glasses smashed, glass all over the floor. So yeah, I learned a lesson there. Do it over there where it won't smash anything. And then taking it all down and moving the wood. I was putting the wood one way and then going that way and knocking another glass off the shelf. And it's like, oh, so these things happen, don't they? You know. But yeah, not far off 3,000 as well now. So that's about 150 away now. So that'll be interesting. I'm going to drink. I'd said all the way along that I'll do that 75% Belfer Fire, the beer that's not really a beer, more of a spirit. But
yeah, they cheat a lot with it being fortified beer in quotes.
Yeah,
you're adding pure alcohol to a standard ale.
I mean, let's be fair. Anything above 23% really can't be classed as proper beer because you're not fermented. You freeze distilling or whatever they call it.
Freeze distilling's okay, I think, because it's still the initial brew and you're merely removing water. But you're never going to get a big like that strength in numbers for Brewdog. It was always going to be a limited number because you start off with a massive brew, and then you're reducing the water and it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and eventually you end up with, what was it ever they did? Was it 500? What were they weigh? 150 ml, 125 ml bottles.
You
can't add more liquid, otherwise you dilute the ABV again. It's
yeah. I mean, that's the same as distilling. I mean, you can start off with 25 litres of around about 15-16%, and you put it through a still, and it comes out at for 4 litres you'll get 800 mils at 60%. So you can see how what they've had to do to do the same, and that goes for a still. So they're going through freezing it. So I just wonder how that works really. But Andrew says, remember back in the day with 100 subs doing the evil dog kit in the kitchen? Classic, mate. Cheers. I remember them days. Yeah. I've gone through some bloody cameras and phones over the years. I've still got the 4K camcorder, but it was such a pain in the arse to do. You'd film a video, to take it up to the house, to upload it to the internet, then to wait hours for it to for the processors. Now I just click on go live on my phone, and it's just so easier. I am going to get a new phone in September though, so when my contract runs out, so hopefully I'll get a phone that's decent. And not, I mean, I had that new phone, then it kept zooming in and out as I'm doing beer reviews. It's like next 1 minute it's there, it's zooming in and out on my face. and going light and dark at the same time. I mean, it was a newer phone as well.
I remember when the cherry beer, the Belgian cherry beer, exploded. I remember watching that the week it came out. That was more or less when I started following you.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it was the week it came out. It was just the fuck. Just made me laugh so much.
And obviously none of it's scripted because obviously you don't expect that to happen. And then I think I said something like, "Oh, my cherries popped," and yeah, that was funny.
To answer Disco's question, the glass you have with the narrowest top.
Ooh, did I miss that question?
906. Just above Andrew Cummings.
What would you say is the best glass to put a 500ml can of Rivington Sour in?
Something, the narrowest top that you've got. The narrower the top for a sour. If you've got a top of the glass, it is as narrow as possible because you're supposed to derive the aroma as narrow as possible on a sour.
Oh, right, yeah. So there's something you learn. Raggy's pissed up with who's in the kitchen in front of the egg boxes.
That's what I always got told. I always got told that the widest bottom for a stout and the narrowest top for a sour.
Right. God, that's interesting. So yeah, it just shows what difference a glass can make then.
It's all about aroma. It's not the taste.
Hayden says, I really enjoyed Northern Monk Mango IPA, trying to recreate this as a homebrew. At what stage of the brew do you think I should add the mango juice? Are you going to add mango juice or mango essence? If it's juice, I'm not sure I'd go down the juice route. I'd go down the essence route and add it before bottling.
But if you were doing the juice, would you do it before secondary fermentation and then ferment out the sugars? It'd take ages though, wouldn't it, with secondary fermentation?
Not always, no. Because I've secondary these because of the heat in the beer room last week. I put these in one night. The next morning I've come, they're solid. They've already secondary fermented overnight just because of the heat.
I meant with adding mango juice, it's extra sugar, isn't it, for the yeast to eat?
Yeah, it's I would go down the essence route. I really would, rather than might get some mango essence. There are brands out there. There's a Doctor something or other, mango essence. But yeah, I'd go down that route.
Not to anger Disco, but Amazon have got a lot.
Yeah. About £8 for 50 mils, you put half a mil in, supposedly half a mil. And, or just put as much as you bloody want in. But before you secondary ferment, and that would be the better way of getting the mango. Yeah, always put a bit more in, more, you just use, if you've already got the barrel, put the whole bloody lot in just before you're going to bottle it so that you're secondary fermenting and it's there and it's full on. That's what I do. Andrew says,
sorry.
Oh, sorry. Andrew said, any beer over 13% is not a beer for me, but that's just me. Oh, I love a beer over 13%.
I was going to say, I think the head retention is slightly better on this one than it is the Beak because I've still got a bit of a head and it's catching around the glass. And
look at that! Look, more of a film as well. It's just surprising how they are.
But I don't know whether that's the is it the dextrose maltodextrin. That's its thickness and head retention is what that gives it. And whereas the Beak beer didn't have that as an ingredient. But I think it's a less complex beer. The Beak one's much more complex.
Yeah, the other one's is complex to high heaven, isn't it? You can sit there picking out the flavours. Craig says, Adam, have you heard anything about Peerless being sold?
What I know is they dipped their toe into the craft market with they did 2 beers. They did a mango IPA and they did a chocolate stout. And I think that was a last-ditch attempt to make some money because, as a traditional brewery, they weren't making any money. I knew Steve Briscoe, who is the owner of Peerless, wanted to retire. God love him, he's in his late 60s. I would want to retire, to be honest to him. I don't know if they found as far as I know, they haven't found a seller. And I think that's the stage that they're at. As far as I know, he's looking to sell. He wants to retire. From what I heard, he wants to go abroad to retire. He wants to go to Spain. But they haven't found a buyer. So it's a sad state of affairs when the owner / head brewer sort of ages out of the brewery.
It's funny though, because in a lot of people, they want to carry on working. So I suppose everyone's different in that respect.
He's in his late. The guy's like 68.
Yeah.
Do you really?
I know somebody who's 68 and they run around like a 40-year-old. You won't believe it, and it's like, do you want to retire? Why would I want to sit at home? And
does a lot of the brewing. They do a tap room once a month. It's a lot of work for him, and I don't think it's a lot of money in return. It was a vanity project when he sort of took early retirement. He owned his own business and he took early retirement, like sort of late 40s, early 50s. He's been going for about 10 years, 10, 20 years.
I mean, some of the breweries I know, they're doing really, really well. But these are breweries that have built up a reputation, and I suppose it depends on the beers you're selling and what you're doing, and the coverage from both, the media, social media, and in some ways, beer reviewers. Beer reviewers are quite important because you give good beer reviews. That also, it's a promotion, isn't it?
It's how it's
a shit beer review.
it's how it captures. I think it's how it captures sales. It's a difficult thing to quantify. But yeah, he was, speaking of Peerless, they're very traditional brewery. His cask sales is how he makes his money. They do bottles and they do mini kegs, but they only started canning in the last 3 months to do the craft bit, and it was done as a mobile canning. But other than that, he bottled his own ale. He contract bottled. I do apologise. It was contract bottling, and he kegged and cast his own stuff, and it got sold locally in the Wirral. A bit of it went over onto the other side into the city of Liverpool, but not much. It was mostly Wirral stuff, and you got a very limited market at that point. And I say you're not going to make a massive nest egg doing it.
It's all about getting the beer out there, isn't it? Getting exposure and all that. So Disco says, this is weird. Apricot goes from Rivington, smells of sick or something not nice, tastes okay, but not very fruity. Is new beer in kept cool? Most artists.
It could be just sickly sweet.
Yeah. Or sometimes it's what you breathed in on the day. Sometimes what you've been working in. I mean, I've been working in a bird aviary all day, and I take that smell home with me. I can smell it in the nostrils, and you're at home and you're like, just don't smell that bloody birds. And sometimes it depends on what you've smelled before. Not always, obviously. Disco Peerless selling in Wetherspoons probably doesn't make much money on those margins. No chance.
No, he does sell a lot to Wetherspoons. When we went, ironically, when Harry came up to Liverpool and he was getting the train back from Lime Street, there's a Wetherspoons literally in Lime Street next to it, and the whole cast line was Peerless. I think bar one, and they have 6 cast lines, so 5 of them were Peerless. And that's because he does sell a lot to Wetherspoons. He sells a lot to pubs in the Wirral, but a lot to Wetherspoons.
Yeah, and Wetherspoons don't pay a lot for their beer. They buy beer at the end of its life. And I've heard all this as well. And, beer that on cask that's coming to the end of its date, they'll buy it and stick it on just because they can sell it cheap and people think they're getting a bargain. I mean, I was at a pub the other week and it was selling Castle Rock Harvest Pale. I know what Castle Rock tastes like. I had it for donkey's years. The cask version is simply one amazing beer. I went in this pub, drank this version of Harvest Pale, and it's like, it tastes the bloody same. My mate, who's also with me, and he's a bit of a craft beer aficionado, and he certainly knows his beers. And he's like, he says, the lines are bad. So not only is the beer old, but the lines haven't been cleaned and washed out, and so you're not getting the pure taste of the beer.
It's because they're not hiring anyone with cellar management skills, because that costs more money.
Whereas I go round me to places like the Lincoln Green pub in Arnold, their cask is just absolutely amazing.
What's the Castle Rock pub over the road from where Trent Bridge? Because me and Harry went there for breakfast before the Camera Festival last year. I can't remember what it's called. Because we went there. Yeah, we went there for breakfast and we went there for dinner, and I had a full English with a pint of Harvest Pale on cask, and it was absolutely banging.
Yeah, it is. It's no wonder it won beer, champion beer of Britain. It was absolutely stunning beer. Craig H says, Peerless Oatmeal Stout is on at times at my dad's local in Babington, but not easy to find their beers regular.
Really? Yeah, I can get them fairly easy. I know they had a co-op deal, sell bottles at certain co-ops. Yeah, I can get it fairly easily. It's not craft beer shops. I wouldn't say at a craft beer shop or a craft beer pub. You very rarely see a Peerless. I think that's just because their margins are. It's not somewhere they sell them to other places. So a craft beer pub would not buy them because they're at the Wetherspoons. So why would you pay? Why would a consumer pay more money at a craft beer pub when they can get it cheaper Wetherspoons? It's sort of redundant.
And people aren't daft, are they? They'll see it. I'm not paying that there when I can get it for £2 over there.
Exactly. But I know Co-op were doing it in the 2 for £4 deal. So it was like you can get a 500ml bottle for £2, and it included the oatmeal stout. It included their IPA, which is absolutely banging on cask. It's Knee Buckler. It's a 5% IPA, and it's a really good traditional IPA. I think Craig a bottle of it, and Craig did a review, and it was. I 100% agree with Craig's review on it. It's just liquid marmalade, basically.
Yeah, Co-op are good at supporting locals. I mean, Rounders, they support quite a few of the local breweries. More bottled, modern traditional beers rather than craft. But yeah, 2 for £4, you can't fault it, So Lincoln Green, Magpie near me, they get supported. And a lot of cider makers do as well, which is great for cider makers because they struggle to get in supermarkets at times. Whereas, breweries are a little bit easier for them. So I need to knock off about half an hour because I don't want to get the bollocking off the missus. But
yeah, I might already be at red card stage. So yeah, 9-10 minutes for me is the maximum, really.
Yeah. So it's a nice beer. Certainly the fruity at back end.
Yeah, I agree. Dark fruits, massively. Big dark chocolate.
There's more of a roastiness. Now it's at a time to age. There's certainly more of a roastiness coming through.
Yeah.
I find. Well, I find anyway.
No, you are right. It's that dark roasty chocolate. It's
and definitely that strong fruity end.
With a big alcohol hit, I think that hits, even though that's 2% lower than the Beak, I think that hits harder.
Do you? That's surprising. For me, this is the weird thing. I don't feel this anywhere near as much as that Beak. The Beak, I think the bourbon in the taste and the aroma and the ABV hit me much harder than this. This is very gentle for me compared to that. But then again, that's all down to our own chemistries and our body and that.
But I don't know
Well,
whether that's because Beak was a dry finish and this is not. It goes on.
yeah, maybe. Ooh. Well, I've got to say, it's been nice to get back on the old live, doing the lives again. It's been a while. I can't even remember when I last did a live. I think I did one, but it wasn't much of a live because I was sat outside of Lincoln Green, waiting to go in for the tap room night. And God, that was a long fucking walk home that night.
You say night, but I think I was still working when you went live. It was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, it was early. I think it was about 10 to 5, and the wife got me down there, and I got a bottle of the raggies and got a glass. They pinched me bloody glass as well. Never did get my glass back. It's a good thing I got plenty of those glasses, otherwise I might have kicked off. Yeah, put my glass in their dishwasher. But anyhow, I'm sure I'll acquire a glass when I want one. But yeah, that was about the last one, and I couldn't really see properly. And apparently the picture quality was awful that day, so probably want a good representation of the channel anyway. But
you definitely need to do another Lincoln Green beer. Do like Lincoln Green, Raggy's Dark Dream or something like that, and do a stout.
Raggy's Imperial Stout. Now that'd be something. Yeah, they, funnily enough, they now have got the ability now to do cans and keg. So now they're going down the keg route. So
I hope they don't stop doing cask, because I enjoyed the Lincoln Green cask guide when I came down to Nottingham, because you do not see that outside of Nottingham. That was the first time I had cask when I came to Nottingham for Lincoln Green.
Yeah. They'll never go away from cask. No. The keg and the cans is more to promote their Black Shale project, which is obviously their craft beer side. And I'm going to chat to Nottingham Craft Beer Festival. Well, chat or prod them, and see if Lincoln Green can get down there next year. They are a big Nottingham brewery that, people come to Nottingham for that. They have got a beer called Disco. Yeah. Could you imagine if they called it Disco? That would have been good, wouldn't it? Yeah. One letter disappointment. I think it's.
What kind of beer is it?
It's a 7.3% double IPA, I think it was.
So they need to do a triple IPA called Disco Dosco.
Yeah.
Just.
It was strong. I'd had a few pints of it that night. Yeah. And because it was like you could keep going up and get more beer, which is lethal.
Yeah.
£30. It was a brewery tour, fish and chips, and help yourself to the beer. And yeah.
I'm doing very similar next month at Black Lodge. So I'm doing 30. I think it's £38, and it's a brewery tour, a burger and chips, and then you pour your own ale for 2 hours.
Right. So talking of Black Lodge, I think it's Black Lodge. Did they come down to Nottingham Beer Festival?
I'm not sure. They didn't. I only went to the Cameron, didn't I? So I didn't go to the craft. Possibly. I think maybe you announced them.
Yes, they did. They're doing a collaboration beer with Fire Rock Brewing out of Sutton and Ashfield. Yes. So it's going to be brewed over at Black Lodge.
Yeah.
And because the lads at Fire Rock told me that last weekend. So yeah, that'll be interesting because they're going to have to. They can buy some of the kegs off them, which is a bit miserable. You think they give them some free, wouldn't you? Miserable kegs.
It's
But
usually due to the split, because they split the profit, and if you do the ingredients, then everything else, and then it's like whatever profit is, it's split. But if then they have to buy, if they want kegs, it comes out of their back end.
yeah, it's just surprising that. Yeah, I'd have thought they just get them some for free. But
it'd be Black Lodge ingredients. They want to pay for the ingredients, so it's like
yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, but I suppose it's good for Fireworks. It gets their name up north, and yeah, because what happened at the Craft Beer Festival, they sent one bloke down to do the pouring, and so the Firework bar, which was Bang the Elephant and Emperor's Brewery all together, there was a load of people on this, so they kept jumping on the Black Lodge bar to do their beers while the bloke went off and got himself a beer and a piss and whatnot. So that was nice of them.
Yeah, they're a nice brewery.
That's how the collaboration was born. So that's good.
They run the Liverpool Craft Beer Expo as well, so it's.
So we've only looked. It might reciprocate at some stage. I like Firework. They're a good pair of lads, honest lads, just trying to do a bit of good in the beer market. But both of them work in jobs and do that at the weekend. So
bloody hell. The two beers I had from them, the Christmas one and the coffee one, were really good.
Yeah. And hopefully they'll do that again. I mean, they have got a new beer coming out, which is a collaboration with Urban Chicken behind me. A maple Imperial Stout, maple and blueberry Imperial Stout, stunning beer.
That's it. For the Craft Beer Festival, the Urban Chicken Double Brown Ale was the best by country mile for the whole festival.
I know, and I'm hoping he rebrews it, puts the bugger in cans this time. But hopefully, I keep moaning at him to put stuff in cans. I say, put them in cans. Can't drink from cask because every time I go to a pub to get a bit of his cask, it's already sold out before I get there.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to love you and leave you, unfortunately.
I'm the same. So thank you for everyone for joining tonight. Massive thanks for Adam for joining me and for sending me these awesome beers. And we'll see everyone again sometime soon. Cheers, everyone. Cheers.
Bye. Thank you.
And there we go. Oh, is that gone?